Hello everyone, I'm here to explain you the poem Dust of Snow by a famous American poet, Robert Frost. Robert Frost was a romantic poet. Romantic here does not refer to the romance what we see in the movies or in the TV serials, but it refers to the love for nature and appreciation for the nature. When you go through the poetry, you find out that the poet seems to be in a very stressful situation or in a sorrow or a sad mood. And he teaches through the poetry that we do not need a psychiatrist, we do not need a counselor to overcome such stresses of our life, but nature itself is a great healer. Nature itself helps us to overcome such stresses in our lives. Most of his poems depicts the reality of life. Here, reality refers to the sorrow, happiness, joy, etc. Now, let's go through the poetry. When we go through the poetry, we see that the poet has used two basic symbols, that is, the crow and the hemlock tree. Crow and hemlock tree both are the negative elements. They can also be called as inauspicious things. See, generally what we see is that scavengers like crow gather near the dead bodies. And hemlock also is a poisonous tree which can cause death. So both crow and hemlock symbolizes sadness, sorrow or death. So, in other words, we can say that both are negative elements, and through the poetry, the poet has deliberately used these two negative elements to break our myth, to break our omen, to break our superstitions that negative elements. He wants to show that even such negative elements can fill our lives with joy and happiness. Next, we move to the mood. Mood is the whole poem seems to be in a very sad mood. Setting is that of a winter, and let us discuss few word meanings of the poetry. Dust of snow. Now, dust of snow refers to the small particles. Dust does not here refer to the dirt or the soil or the mud, but here dust refers to falling away or pouring away or just dusting it away. Now, snow here refers to the chance for the rays of happiness. Rude refers to the word regretted, and we see that the whole poetry seems to be in continuity. There is a continuation. We see that there isn't a pause after the end, beyond the end of line or couplet or stanza. The whole thing seems to be in continuation, and that is called as enjambment. Let's focus on the theme of the poem. That is, first theme is that happiness can be found even in the darkest time. It's not that every time your life will be filled with regrets, but we see that even the darkest of the time can bring happiness in your lives. Inauspicious things can also bring joy and happiness. Here the poet has used two negative elements, that is crow and hemlock. They can be called as negative element, they can be called as inauspicious things, and both are used to bring happiness in his life. Now, one must accept the way with which nature chooses to bless us. And one more thing the poet wants to say is that small things can change one's attitude. We don't need to have big things to change our attitude. Even the smallest of the things can change our attitude. Only that what we need is we need to have a positive attitude in our lives. We need to be positive. Now let's see the poetry. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Now, when you go through the poetry, you get to know that the poet was in a very stressful situation. He was in a very sad mood or the sorrow mood, and He happened to stand under the hemlock tree. It was not that intentionally or deliberately he was standing under the hemlock tree, but it was just by chance that he happened to stand under the hemlock tree, and even the crow happened to shake the branch of the tree. It appears, it you can make out that there must have been a heavy snowfall and the branches were filled with the snow, and as the crow flies away, or as the crow switches over, it's not specified here, as the crow switches over from one branch to the other, somehow the crow manages to shake the branch of the tree, and because of the shaking of the branch, the snow starts falling down, and the fall of the dust of snow appears to be like showers of blessings over him. It really works like showers of blessing, because till then he was regretting that because of the sad mood, because of the sorrows of his life, he has already wasted most part of the day. But after the dust of snow, after the snowfall, after the dust or snow falls as dust over his body, it appears as if God has sent the showers of blessings over him, and his there is a mood swing. His mood's heart seems to be elated. It appears as if he has been successful in overcoming the sorrows, regrets, and his life seems to be filled with happiness. And he is very happy about it, that at least he has been able to save the remaining part of the day. He is happy that he has not wasted the whole day. Okay, now we focus on the rhyme scheme. We find that the first word the last word of the first line crow rhymes with the last word of the third line snow, and the last word of the second line me is seen to rhyme with the last word of the fourth line tree. So the rhyme scheme of the first stanza is ABAB, and similarly the rhyme scheme of the second stanza is CDCD. So towards the end, we just can say that if winter comes, can spring be far behind? And that every cloud has a silver lining. Behind every unhappy moment, behind every struggling moment, there's a beautiful moment awaiting. But there's a beautiful time waiting for us. We just need to have faith, we just need to have hopes in our life. With this, we end with the explanation of dust of snow. Thank you.